Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with All American Season 5, Episode 2, called Don't Sweat the Technique. Guys, what a fun episode this was. I really enjoyed this episode. Not only for the funny aspects of what was going on in this episode, but there was a lot of aspects I was kind of like, oh shit, things are really about to go down. Things are about to get fucking insane in this show. There was a lot of things I wasn't expecting for people to like find out in this episode, and then there were some things that I wasn't expecting when it comes to like how funny this episode was, especially because of what the promo kind of made it feel like it was gonna be. It made it feel like it wasn't gonna be like this, but I was super excited on how this episode turned out, especially because we got more JJ in this episode, which was I was very happy to see JJ. I'm always happy when we see JJ on screen, and we get to spend more time with JJ. But we start off this episode where we're literally at the bowl, and they are getting their ass kicked, mainly because, as we all know, Jordan's back in the game. Even though he wanted to tell Coach Garrett he wasn't ready to be put back in yet, he wanted to go a little bit more into to do some more physical therapy to make sure he was ready to be put back in to be their main first string quarterback. But it was not his game. They really started getting their ass kicked, especially there was this one dude on the other team that just kept sacking JJ left and right. And right away, we have Patience, we have Coop, we have Layla, and we have Olivia all at, of course, the Baker house. And, even Olivia's like, oh my God, can Spencer get open so, he can, so that way, Jordan doesn't keep getting creamed like that. And then I love how Coop's like, whoa, my boy is always open. You know what I mean? It's not his fault. Jordan's not throwing quick enough and all that shit. When it's when Olivia said that, I was like, I find it so hard to keep defending, somewhat trying to in a way, give Olivia the benefit of the doubt of okay, Spencer was it wasn't in a way how Spencer wasn't blaming Olivia for their relationship not working and shit. He just wanted to give Olivia space and time so she could figure out everything. He didn't want her to choose him over her dream. He didn't want to do that for her and be the reason that her light would turn out of her happiness when every time she was around him. But yet she's being rude and talking shit about him behind his back. I'm I find it so hard to agree with Spencer when it's when I'm seeing that was that I don't agree with Spencer. It's Olivia, no, it's she's being such a pain in the ass right now. It's that it was so rude for her to say some shit like that. I was just what the hell? I was how are you going to talk shit on him like that when, at the end of the day, it's he doesn't want you choosing, he doesn't want you choosing him over over your dream or choosing you not to follow it. Are you not following with the story, aka not following, not choosing your dream over him or whatever. And it's no, it's again, I keep thinking that no, she's the reason that their relationship didn't work out, and not the fact of how Spencer was saying it, but it's the fact of that she does, she literally doesn't care about what it will do to Spencer's thing. She just doesn't care. And she feels I'm going to do whatever I want, and I don't care what the outcome is because, I'm getting what I want, essentially. How other people have been saying it and all that. It's but Spencer's sugarcoating it a little bit, making it sound oh, no, I don't want you not following your dreams, and then every time you're around me, you're upset or whatever. I don't want to do that to you. So I would never ask you to not, follow your dreams. You know what I mean? I would never tell you to do that. Seems like you didn't tell me to stop or to give up football. When it's no, Spencer was being nice there, but the fact of it is that Olivia just, doesn't care. I feel especially I felt this episode, she was just talking shit on Spencer in this episode for no reason. When I was I thought you guys ended in a good you guys broke up on a good note. You know what I mean? I thought you guys broke up on a civil breakup, but it's she's just talking shit about him. It was just caught me off guard. I was what the fuck is happening right now? So I don't know. I still want to hold out faith that Olivia is, I don't know why she's upset right now. I can't get my head around that because why would she be upset? There's nothing for her to be upset about. It's not like he told her, oh, either choose me or choose, your work or whatever. That he made that decision for her was okay, look, you know what I mean? I don't want you to choose me and forget about the story that you're working on. I would never ask you to do that. So I think right now we need to just, break up, and, you got to do this and I got to do my thing, and that's that. I don't know why Olivia's acting the way she was been acting in this episode. I really didn't know why. So right away I was like, they're getting beat. Jordan's clearly knows he shouldn't have been in the game. And then, we have Isaiah. He ends up taking out one of the players that was getting on Jordan or whatever, and ends up pretty much like taking him out completely. Like, I'm talking like breaking this dude's ankle on the other team, Isaiah. And right away, like, Billy saw it, and Grace is there, which it really was nice to see Grace, because we haven't seen Grace yet. And mind you, this is only the second episode, so it's like I can't really get upset at the writers for that, because it's like they wrote Grace in at the right time. But it's so nice. It feels like we haven't seen Grace in forever. It also feels like we haven't seen Dylan in forever, and and Darnell and all them. And I hope we see them, Darnell again. I hope we see Dylan soon. I think we'll see Dylan in when Grace gets married to I forget. I'm like forgetting his name. What is it? D'Angelo. When she gets married to D'Angelo, I think that's when we'll be seeing, Dylan. So, it was so nice to see Grace, and also that's when, right away when that happened, Billy's the one that noticed it, of course, because Billy and Olivia have the notion that, okay, Coach Garrett is literally paying his players more, certain players, to take out other key players on other teams, to take them out completely, so that way they win games and stuff. So in a way, Billy sees that, and really, who really saw it and called Billy was Olivia. And then, of course, Grace overhears and saying, "What are you not telling me that, that got Olivia and you all worked up or whatever? Like, what's going on?" And then that's when, Billy says to Grace, "I think Coach Garrett is paying his students to take out other key players on the other teams, to get them out of the games completely, so they win games and stuff." But this, if we go through with this could affect the program of Golden Athlete. Like, this could affect the program, and this could like ruin everybody's scholarships and stuff. And it's kind of like, Grace is like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, "Oh, you better tell me, because if it involves, Spencer, I need to know," or whatever. So it's kind of like, that was like it was very, I don't know, like, Grace was kind of like, oh, like, in a way, I don't know. I don't even know really how Grace felt about it exactly. Like, she probably wants him to make sure that there is proof. And that's exactly what Billy's been saying, is that, like, I'm going to be like the one in charge of this, so that way we can really get our proof together before we just go after Coach Garrett. Because right away, Olivia is just so ready to go after Coach Garrett, because she just doesn't care about what this will do to people that aren't involved at, again, GSU. She doesn't care. She just wants to do this story, but she doesn't care what the aftermath will be. She doesn't care that it could affect Spencer. She doesn't care that it could affect Jordan. She doesn't care that it could affect other students that aren't even involved. Yes, Coach Garrett is wrongly doing this, but what about the kids that had nothing to do with this? Again, that's what Billy's like, okay, that's why I'm going to be in charge of this, because we have to get all of our stuff together and make sure that this isn't going to affect any other student that wasn't involved, which is smart on Billy's behalf. But Olivia's upset about that, which I was like, okay, like, this clearly proves everybody's point that I've said, that you don't care about anybody else but your story. I think Jordan said that before. I'm pretty damn sure he was the biggest candidate, saying like, "Oh, like, why don't we just leave my team alone? Like, you're not thinking about this, what this will do to us, and you know what I mean? Like, you just don't care. You just want to follow through with your story." And that's exactly it, is that she just wants to follow through with her story. She doesn't care about the aftermath or what that will do, I feel like. So, it was very interesting to me. Well, he told Olivia, like, okay, like, look, I'm going to figure this out, whatever. And, and this episode mainly is that, well, Billy is taking the lead on the finding out if Coach Garrett's actually doing this, finding the information, so that way they could go to like the main board about it or confront Coach Garrett. And Olivia is upset about that. This episode is really about, how, of course, Grace is moving out of her house, and, she's getting ready to move in, of course, with, D'Angelo. So that was very, just sad kind of to see, like, but happy seeing Grace, like, get ready to start her next chapter of her life. I do feel bad for Dylan, though, because he's leaving all of his friends and schoolmates behind to go with Grace. But like Spencer said, it's your time. You know what I mean? You did everything for us, and now it's our time to repay you, and you do something for you. So I do love how, like, Grace is, getting ready for the next chapter of her life. And I love how, like, of course, Coop is like, oh, like, I'm like, you're taking everything. I'm going to have to mark down, what I need to replace, you know what I mean? Like, what, like, since you're taking everything, and then, if I'm going to be living here, and then Grace is like, you're not going to be living here. That's why I'm taking everything, is because I'm getting ready to sell the house. And I was like, damn, you're not going to, like, offer it to Spencer. You're not going to offer it to, like, Coop or anything. But I was like, of course, Spencer is living at the beach house, and he doesn't have the money to probably be buying that house, especially because, Grace is probably going to want to put that in to how much the wedding is going to cost, and how much, and also her next chapter of her life, and maybe getting a new house or whatever, who knows. So I was like, that's right. She kind of wants to sell the house, so she can get money for the house and stuff. But it was just funny that Coop just thought she was going to be moving in there. She's like, I'm going to be, because I thought I was going to be moving here because, it's right down the block from me going to classes to become a lawyer. Like, I just thought it would just be, it would just been like, oh, like, I'm going to be doing this. Like, it was just would have made sense that I could just literally go down the block or whatever. And it's just, instead of going all the way from, Beverly all the way over trying to go take classes and stuff. So, and then of course, Spencer's kind of upset at Coop a little bit because, like, I guess he's upset about, Coop was, like, being so pushy with Olivia, telling Olivia to make up her mind and blah, 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 blah. And he kind of feels like that Coop is responsible a little bit for their breakup and stuff. And then Coop's like, don't like, ask me, like, don't be hating on me because I'm here or whatever, because, don't be, like, blaming me because Olivia, just couldn't make up her mind and stuff like that and all that crap. Like, don't, like, if anything, you shouldn't be the one moping around. She should be the one moping around because, she's the one that, she's the reason that you guys broke up or whatever. And it's like, I kind of agree with Coop. Like, you shouldn't be moping around, Spencer, because you didn't do anything wrong. Olivia did something wrong. And again, I hate to say that because I love Olivia's character, but, like, since last season, she's just, the writers have been making me not like this character, and I don't know why, but I feel like that's everybody, though. A part of the fandom right now is just not liking Olivia's choices, and it's like, I don't understand, especially it ended so well, their breakup, on a civil note, but she just keeps talking shit about Spencer, and she's not realizing what everybody's been telling her is that you keep putting this story, forward. You keep pushing it forward and keep continuing to go after the story, but you're not caring of it's affecting the loved ones that you love and their future. You know what I mean? It's not fair that this could affect their future, but your future is still intact. That's not cool. So, I just love how, Grace is like, you know what, Coop is right, not about the whole, Olivia should be moping around and not you thing or whatever, but you should, you're young, you should go, go live your life, you know what I mean? Go to a party, go do something, it's off season. That was their last football game, that bowl. So it's off season right now. And it's like, that's when Spencer realizes, like, you know what, maybe I should go party. And this is when we run into, of course, Asher and Jamie, which was really cool to see Jamie mainly and Asher and to see where their relationship is right now. And it's so good. And I'm so happy for Asher because Asher's had a rough break, especially him losing football, especially, him, just his past relationships not going very well. It was very nice to see him and Jamie. Just, Jamie coming to visit him while he's not even an assistant coach. He's like a teacher coach. He's not even like the head assistant coach. He's like the third assistant coach, like a teacher coach. And like, he makes like meal plans and like fitness plans for like the freshmen in college. And but he's trying to like earn the respect of the team of his players, so that way I guess he can move up and become the main assistant coach. I think that's what he's trying to do. And he's just been so focused on work, and mainly he ends up I guess what he's trying to do is like, I guess he was like making he's been like coaching JJ and all that, and like he's been doing JJ's fitness plan, and JJ's like like, I guess, pretty much he's been coaching JJ. And, he ends up going back to the beach house and JJ is drinking. And I was very concerned. I was like, this isn't like JJ. I mean, I understand, they won their bowl game you know, he's they're off football now. It's no longer football season. You know, they're that was their last like game. They won their game. It's their last thing. It's like they're on break. And, you know, he just wants to have beers and do whatever. But I was like, this isn't, it feels like something is wrong with JJ. And never thought I would say that, because there's multiple things kind of wrong with JJ, where JJ does like funny shit that seems like, oh, God damn it, JJ. But like, JJ is such a good friend, where I was like, something is up. Like, he's drinking. And, you know, I don't think it's the fact of like Asher's like, yo, like you're supposed to be in for an interview or whatever, but you never showed up. And he's like, why would I need to show up? Because I live with you. Like, why would I have to show up to like an update or whatever? Like, I forget what it was for, but like he had to like come in for like an update or an interview like with Asher, but he never showed up. And, you know, like Asher's like, I can't stand the fact of like, I care about this more than you do. Like, yo, even though you're off and you won the bowl game or whatever, you still need to like go to the gym. You still need to like be on your fitness plan. You still need to be doing all this. Like, why am I caring about this more than you are? Mainly, I feel like Asher just can't get over the fact of like, you know, it makes like, that was supposed to be Asher's spot, but then went to JJ. And it's like, I feel like Asher just can't drop that, even though you could say that he is a coach, and, you know, regardless of how him and JJ being friends, you think it would be easier that him and JJ are friends to have JJ listen to like want to like help out Asher to make Asher look good. But it's also the fact of like, but JJ doesn't, like, in a way, like JJ just wants to like not have that special kind of have like, you know, that I kind of feel like, oh, like, you know what I mean, since we're friends or whatever, and you're like the assistant coach, like you're all on me, and you have to use me to make you look good. Like, he doesn't like having that kind of like special treatment that no one else has. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like, you know, you're just using me as kind of like, you know, you like, it feels like you're just kind of like using me to make yourself look good. And we kind of have that feeling, that sense of like, I was wondering like what is going on with JJ. He, like, I feel like half the time he usually is a dude that just wants to party, and when it's break time, he just like, he doesn't want to do any like football stuff, and he just wants to party. It's like, you know, we've seen this before with JJ, but it just felt like different this time, where I felt like something was up. Like he was getting drunk really early, and maybe there's something going wrong, and, you know, he just doesn't want to talk to anybody, maybe because he feels like he can't talk to anybody. I don't know, but it just felt very weird. And, you know, but we've seen the arguments before between, like, you know, Asher, you know, like he's always cared about more of like, really like cared more than JJ does. Not to say that JJ doesn't care about like him being in like college, but he's really like acting like anybody, like some like other people would act if they were in college, and, you know, and there was parties, and, you know, when you're off of football, you don't train. A lot of people don't train, and they just go party and do stuff. He wants to be that dude, but he doesn't have the luxury, because he is friends with Asher, and Asher is the assistant coach, and he wants to show like anyone, and, you know, and somebody that, you know, ended up taking a spot, he really wants to make sure that, okay, like, you didn't earn this really, but like, I need to make sure that you don't screw it up, because in the way, if you screw it up, it's like I screwed up, especially because now that I'm the assistant coach, and if you screw up, it's like I screwed up. And I feel like Asher's feeling that type of way, but, you know, JJ doesn't like how, like, you know, Asher's telling him to do, like, telling him what to do, especially if they won the bowl game. And especially because, you know, he wants to just relax, party, you know what I mean? Like, do normal stuff. But Asher's just, like, doesn't want him to do that and wants him to follow through. And he said, like, Spencer comes in, he's like, hey, like, even Spencer is doing, like, you know, they lost their game, but he's still putting in work, sometimes twice a day at the gym. You know what I mean? He works every day and sometimes twice a day. And, you know, and then that's when, you know, they, like, Asher wants Spencer to take his side about the argument. You know, JJ wants Spencer to take his side on the argument, and then that's when Spencer actually agreed with JJ, saying, okay, like, took a beer and said, where are we going? Where are we partying? I'm down. Let's go. Like, meaning he's taking Grace and Coop's advice about getting out there, meeting new people, and living his life. You can't just wait for Olivia. You know, he's like, and put it on pause, his life. He has to go live his life. And, you know, it's like, and I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. I was like, you know, I'm happy he's, you know, he is seeing what's out there. And I mean, because at the end of the day, Olivia is the reason that that the relationship didn't work. And even JJ made a joke to Spencer and Asher, saying, I've been waiting for this moment, that the fact of, like, you know, all my boys are single again. And he's like, now that the fact I've been waiting for this moment that Spencer wants to party, but also, you know, my boy is single again. And, you know, and now he realizes that, you know, being in a relationship with Olivia is like so hard or whatever. And then that's when Spencer's like, dude, it's not that deep. And he's like, dude, yes, it is. It's Little Mermaid deep. It's under the sea deep. that, you know, that like that's how deep it is. And I love always, like, you know, like if you don't look around once in a while, you never know what you're missing or whatever. Like he did like a Ferris Bueller's, you know, reference, which I thought was funny. I was like, because I caught it right away. I was like, that's Ferris Bueller. He tells JJ and Spencer, it's like, it's Ferris Bueller. You know what I mean? So I loved how like this was like a party episode, like, but we don't really know. It's like he wanted to escape through Spencer, be like, look, Spencer agrees with me, let's go party, it's off, you know what I mean? And it kind of like, it's coming from both sides, where like Asher does nothing but do work, wanting to move his way up to become the actual assistant coach. But you know what I mean? Because actually it makes sense that Asher wants to work, because that is his life now. It's no longer football. He doesn't have that anymore. So he's like, okay, this is my life. I do want to work. I don't have time to go do parties and stuff. I actually want to impress my players. I want to move up and become the assistant coach. I have goals I want to do, and I got to put in the work to get what I want. But in a way, JJ never had to put any work in to get what he wants. He just got the spot because Asher got hurt, and that's why he kind of wants to make JJ earn it, and that's why he's being so hard on JJ. So I have an understanding, but I understand JJ and why he does, like, is so resistant against Asher, not just being a friend to JJ and wanting to actually just do stuff with JJ that doesn't involve work to make Asher look good. But it's not just to make Asher look good, but it's also to make, you know, it's at the benefit of he doesn't want JJ to lose his spot, or, you know what I mean, or regret anything doing something stupid. So I understand coming from both sides of what it's doing, like, you know, like why they like why Asher's so hard on JJ and why JJ's like resisting Asher. I understand that, you know what I mean? So it's like I do feel bad for Asher, because again, him not following, like, his best friend not listening to him as the assistant coach makes Asher look bad. Like, he's like, what does it say that my best friend isn't listening to me? How do you think that makes me look? And JJ's sick and tired of that. Asher's making it look like that, like being that dude and not being a friend. Be like, oh, like, let's go party, let's do something. Being separate from, like, him. Once he leaves the football field, he has a friend. But it's like once he leaves the football field is following him. His coach is following him. He feels like he can never have just a moment with his friend anymore, because Asher's so focused on wanting to move up and wanting to actually achieve his dreams. Where JJ's like, you know, this is my time. Like, I have all the time to, you know, I just got, in a way, I feel like JJ thinks he earned that spot, but really he just got that spot because Asher got hurt. But Asher just wants him to put in the work so that way he could say he earned this spot. So I understand what Asher's trying to do, and I really do feel bad for Asher, because again, it makes him look bad that JJ is being resistant. But I understand that JJ just wants to have a fun time because it is off season. But I am still concerned about JJ because he's acting weird. How he's drinking really early, and I feel like it's not just because, you know, they're off of football. I feel like it's just something is up. Let me know if you guys felt that way. I feel like there's something up. But, you know, it was interesting because, you know, not only that, we get, of course, Jordan, and we get Layla, and it's funny because, you know, Jordan's telling Layla, like, comes in to give Layla, like, coffee. Patience is there, and they're having a conversation about, like, oh, like, you know, I don't know how to expand my label because Clay keeps, you know, poaching my clients. He keeps, like, you know, like, he keeps, like, getting to my clients, and I can't make them unsign with Clay because he can offer them, you know, a social media, like, people to run the social media. He can offer people to get them in higher places. He can offer, work with the best people. He can offer so many things through my dad's company, and him having my dad's resources that I don't have that. And it's like, you know, he keeps poaching all my clients, and he's trying to, like, make my label fail, essentially. And then, you know, and then that's when, you know, Patience is pretty much, you know, this is like, I think this is like before or after. I think it's after. But, you know, Jordan comes in and pretty much wants to give coffee to Layla, but he has to like do like, oh, like, because Patience like, oh, Jordan, what are you doing here? And, you know, Layla is looking at Jordan like, oh, you better find up something to say. Like, oh, but she's like, oh yeah, Jordan, what are you doing here? Pretty much like doing a payback to Jordan for what Jordan did to her in the last episode, like going in for like making Layla and like going for the kiss or whatever, or going into the kiss with Layla and then pulling back saying, oh, you know, I'm just gonna actually, you know, keep making you, you know, try to resist me and stuff, like playing with her. So he was kind of like toying with him back, saying, oh yeah, like, Jordan, what are you doing here? Kind of agreeing with Patience. And then Jordan had to like figure out what to say, saying, oh, I just wanted to bring you guys coffee. And you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? He just kept digging his grave, because I think Patience is catching on that Jordan likes Layla. I feel like she definitely caught on, because he said something like, oh, like, you know, Lane, like, because like I think Jordan's like, oh, what are you guys talking about? And then Patience like, oh, we're talking about Clay, and then Jordan's like, Clay, what's going on with Clay, Layla, or whatever. And, you know, that's when, you know, Patience or it said like, oh, because, you know, Clay keeps taking all of, keeps poaching all of Layla's, you know, clients and stuff that she wants to have a part of the label. And then that's when Jordan says, oh, you know, they would be dumb not wanting to be with you. Like, hell, like I would choose you or whatever, or I would want to be with you. And he's kind of like, Layla, I feel like Patience kind of looked at him like, oh, what do you mean by that? So it's like Jordan just kept digging his grave, where it's like he's so smitten for Layla. And it's the same way where Layla's kind of like, you know, trying to like play it off saying, oh, we can't be together, but yet she could totally tell that she wants to be with Jordan. And I feel like the longer that they keep resisting, we're going to see an episode where they just like kiss, and you know what I mean? And it's like they're going to be done resisting. I feel like that episode's like, it's going to come sooner rather than later, I feel like, because I just feel like, you know, they just have such good chemistry, and they get a kick out of playing this game with each other, especially now that Layla's in on this game, kind of like trying to like do that because I mean, in a way, Layla started this game saying, oh, we can't be together. And now Jordan's doing this. But now Layla's really like playing it back. We're like, oh, like Jordan, I hope you cave in now. Like, come on. Like, you're playing this game, you know, and I'm invested where like I want you to cave in before I cave in to, you know, us wanting to be together. It kind of feels like that they're playing this game with each other. It's just going to be so satisfying when they actually start dating. I cannot wait for that. But, you know, we have, Jordan telling Layla, like, oh, I'm funny. And then, you know, and then Patience comes back after a call. And then, because Layla said, like, you're not funny. Like, what makes you think you're funny? And then that's when, you know, Patience comes back. And then that's when Jordan's like, Patience, I'm funny. And she's like, yeah, sure. And it's like, I agree with Layla and Patience. Jordan's not funny. I've laughed at Jordan. I've never laughed with Jordan. Same with, like, it was the same moment between Grace and Billy when Billy was helping Grace, you know, move all the boxes out, you know, so they can move him into her and D'Angelo's new place. And then that's when, you know, like he made the joke or whatever. And then, you know, Grace is like, oh, you think you're funny? And he's like, and Billy's like, I am funny. So it's like the Baker boys are not funny. Again, I kind of agree with Grace because I've laughed at Billy, but I've never laughed with him. So that's kind of funny to me that, like, in a way, like, we've laughed at Jordan, we've laughed at Billy, but it's never been like they've said something and we've laughed. I don't think that's happened. So I find it funny that they both kind of had that experience where, like, people don't think the Baker boys are funny. So I think that's hilarious. But, you know, we have in this episode, again, like I said, you know, we have JJ wanting to be a wingman for Spencer. We have, we have Asher, we have Coop, we have, Jordan wouldn't all be wingmen for Spencer, and when Spencer just to, like, live his life and move on, essentially. And, you know, there was one moment where, like, again, Olivia confronts Jordan, pretty much telling Jordan what's going on with, again, about Isaiah doing that illegal hit because of Coach Garrett paying him to do that illegal hit. And that's when Jordan's like, why can't you just leave my team alone? Why can't you just leave it alone? And then that's when Olivia's like, I didn't want you to blindside you like I did with the Wade stuff. I just wanted to tell you that now before I went full steam ahead with taking down Coach Garrett. And he's like, you know, you just don't quit, do you, or whatever? Like, why does it have to be my team or whatever? And he's like, I know Isaiah. He would never do that. And, of course, that's when Olivia's like, but I was right about Wade. And she's like, oh, yeah. And then that's when Jordan's like, well, you're not right about Isaiah. I actually know him. He wouldn't do that on purpose. And he's not getting paid. He's not getting paid by Coach Garrett to take out people, and, you know what I mean? All that stuff is just not, I know him. He wouldn't do that. And that's when he pretty much just walks away from Olivia. And right away, it's like Spencer, you know, that's when you know, JJ and, you know, Spencer, mainly JJ and Spencer are looking for people so that way around the campus. So that way, you know, Spencer can meet a new girl and stuff like that and get out there. Because, again, JJ doesn't know any GAU girls, and neither does Spencer. So right now they're pretty much walking around campus trying to, like, look for girls for Spencer. That's what JJ's trying to do for Spencer. And I thought right away when we saw Jordan and Olivia on the campus, I was like, oh my God, Olivia's going to see JJ trying to hook Spencer up with a girl. Oh shit. But Spencer sees Jordan walk away from Olivia and them having their, like, argument. And pretty much he wants to know what's that's up, and then that's when Jordan's like, oh, it's nothing or whatever. He's like, oh yeah, I would break up with Olivia too if it wasn't for our DNA or whatever. But it's like we're stuck. You know what I mean? You know, being brother and sister. And, you know, it's kind of like, it's like, I felt like that was kind of like weird. Like, I felt that was kind of like rude that everybody's been telling like him, like, oh yeah, like Olivia's like, oh yeah, like, oh, I would break up with her too, or whatever. Like making Liv sound like she's like a villain, even though in a way she's been acting like, I can't keep it's like, I want to defend her, but it's like, I can't. It's like, again, it's like, I would like to agree with what, like, for the reason of you guys broke up is because what Spencer is saying is because he didn't want you choosing him over your story. But it's like, again, it's like, I wouldn't be able to do that. It's like, she could like, yeah, you don't want her to not follow her dreams, but her pursuing her dreams is going to crush your dreams. That's fucked. That's not okay. And I'm so glad Coop told Olivia straight in the last episode. I was so glad she did that, because I was like, I'm tired of Olivia's shit. Honestly, I was so glad that Coop did that. I was like, she needed to do that. Somebody needed to tell Olivia that, because it was annoying that Olivia just thought that what she was doing was okay, and she still does. That's what's crazy to me, is that she's still going full steam ahead, even though Spencer said, I'm not gonna not have you follow your dreams in the sake of me. But it's like, you think that he's saying that she would not want to keep pursuing this, where again, it could ruin Jordan's scholarship, it could ruin Spencer's scholarship, it could ruin multiple kids' scholarship that had nothing to do with what Coach Garrett was doing. Let Billy get all of his ducks together in a line, so that way when he gives the information about what Coach Garrett is doing, it's not going to ruin everybody's futures. It's like, come on, I understand you want to follow your dream of becoming a reporter or a journalist, but it's like, you're going to fuck up everybody's future that didn't do anything wrong on the pursuing your dreams. It's fucked. I can't agree with it. So I agree with everybody. We're like, oh yeah, like, oh, just move on, Spencer, blah blah blah. I kind of agreed. I was like, okay, move on. F this. Especially the rude shit she said earlier, which she said it was Spencer's fault, the reason that Jordan kept getting hit. Nah, I was like, it's open season. Right then and there, I was like, okay, Spencer, go find a girl. Forget this. You know what I mean? It was Olivia's fault. I was completely in saying, okay, it was Olivia's fault. It was Olivia's fault. But you know what's funny to me is when they go to the party, and it reminds you that we have Asher, we have JJ, and we have Jordan, and we have Coop. And the Asher and JJ made an agreement where it's like, Spencer said, okay, look, JJ, you go to workout tomorrow, and Asher, you have a fun time tonight. That's the agreement, and they both shook on it. But JJ gets so shit-faced drunk at this party, man. And he's kind of like, not, even though, like, Asher's like, you better be careful, man, so that way you can go do training tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, you promised, like, we made an agreement. And just, JJ's not, like, just doesn't care. And I don't know why he doesn't care. Something is going on with JJ that have him just not care at all. I feel like JJ would stick to that agreement, but I don't think he did. I don't think he does, especially because he gets so shit-faced drunk that he has to get a ride home. And, we get a moment where, like, Asher gets so annoyed at JJ, like, Coop goes to ask Asher, like, what's going on? Like, oh, like, I see you're not having any fun. And he's like, oh, like, what's that supposed to mean? You don't think I can have fun? And then that's when Coop said, yeah, not anymore, I don't, or not anymore, I do, or whatever. Like, look at you, why are you so upset, or whatever? And he's like, because JJ, like, it's like, he doesn't even want his, like, he doesn't even care that he's at UCLA. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about putting in any work. He doesn't care about, doing this, me asking him to do things. You know what I mean? He just doesn't care. He doesn't care about the position that he's in. I care about more that he's doing this more than he does. And I don't want him losing, again, his scholarship or anything, but I care more about the scholarship than he does. And being at, UCLA. And then that's when Coop said, well, you can't make somebody, do something. You got to let them, fuck up on their own and let them realize that, you were right or whatever. You got to let them, learn on their own. Sometimes you can't force somebody to, learn. They just have to make a mistake to learn that you were right. And that's when, Asher says, you know what, JJ, do whatever you want. I can tell you're not going to show up to show up to the weight room tomorrow to work out. Whatever you do, I'm done or whatever. And then that's, of course, JJ's like, oh, or whatever, like, oh, like, and then Asher said, oh, you can go fill up on pot brownies and keep getting drunk or whatever. I'm done. See ya or whatever. And then that's when JJ's like, oh, there's pot brownies. There's something clearly wrong with JJ. And I want to know what it is, because he's not acting like how JJ acts in a way. Something's going up. And, right from there, he gets drunk to the point where, like, he gets caught by campus security. And, he texts Asher to go pick him up. and he's with Jamie right now. And then he says to Jamie, like, no, I'm done. You know, he needs to learn. His workout, he can walk home or whatever. But Jamie shows up. Jamie actually picks up JJ, which I was like, damn, she's a day one. She's so freaking nice. After all the shit JJ's been putting Asher through about not following the rules of assignments that he's been giving JJ at, like, you know, whether it be fitness assignments, whether it be showing up to the weight room, whether it be whatever, and being a coach, and he should be listening to a coach, but he figures, oh, he's my friend, I don't have to listen to him. You know, it was really big for Jamie to do something like that after Asher said he wasn't going to pick up JJ and make him just walk home. But Jamie didn't want to do that and wanted to go pick up JJ, but also wanted to figure out why JJ's acting the way he's acting. And, you know, and just, you know, she didn't want him just walking home drunk or whatever. And, you know, he's like, oh, that's when JJ's like, well, Asher doesn't really care about me. He just cares about, you know, him being my coach. He doesn't really care about me at all. He just wants to make himself really just look good or whatever. He's pretty much saying that Asher doesn't care about him. And then that's when Jamie's like, you know, that's not true, because if that was true, he wouldn't be like wanting you to, you know, do the right thing so that way you can keep your scholarship, and that way you can, you know, and do the best you can do. Like, he wouldn't be as hard on you as he is if he didn't care. And that's when JJ just falls asleep. And the girl that Spencer was about to sleep with, because everybody hyped Spencer up enough to be like, oh, I got game. You know, why do you guys think I don't got game? You guys are going to try to give me different ideas to try to, you know, trying to, like, you know, get with a girl when it's me, I got game. And then he just says to a girl, like, hey, I'm Spencer James. And then the girl just grabs his hand, and then they end up going somewhere. And he looks back at, like, Jordan, Coop, and Asher and JJ saying, like, look, I got game. But yeah, after the whole I'm Spencer James, nothing happened until the girl came back and found him, and then they end up going up to a room. And I don't know where this party's at. I don't think it's at the beach house. I think it's just at it's at some house on the campus. And you know, we have Spencer in the bathroom, and right away when he's like talking to himself, he's brushing his teeth, he's like flossing. I was like, dude, you are literally trying to stall. You don't want to do this. And I was like, you don't want to do this, man. You just don't. Even though Olivia saw the post that somebody made at the campus party with Spencer dancing with the girl, and also saw her previously when JJ sent out the thing saying, oh, single and ready to, it was like single and ready to go on I forget what it was, like a sex tour or whatever, or something like that. Single and ready to go on a sex tour. I think that's what he said. And Olivia saw that. Olivia wasn't happy. Olivia saw him dancing with another girl, wasn't happy. And Olivia was with Layla, because Layla gets the idea from Patience about poaching one of Clay's people and having an inside spy or whatever, someone on the inside to spy on Clay. That's what Patience's idea was. So we get introduced to, I don't know if we've got introduced to her before. We get introduced to, I'm trying to figure out what her name is. I think her name is, I'm going to say it's Jade, but I could be wrong. And I just want to make sure that's correct or not. I think it's Jade. I can't, I'm trying to think. I don't even know if she's on IMDb, to be honest, because sometimes they don't really like update this as quick as possible. So I'll be lucky enough if she's even updated on here, if I'm even getting that right. Okay, I don't know. I think it's Jade. I'm not quite sure. All I know is it's the girl from True Jackson VP, and her name is I think Lola in True Jackson VP, if I'm correct, or Lulu. It's either Lulu or Lola. I think it's Lulu. I can't quite remember. But and she's also been in Lab Rats before. I just love that actress. She's been so many like childhood shows I've watched. And, you know, that's when Layla asks, I think her name is Jade, asks her to go out for a drink because she's complaining about how she doesn't like working with idiots since Clay's been taking over. And that's when, Layla takes this opportunity to actually hire Jade to become Patience's, and also to become, Layla's new, social, like she works on social medias and stuff. Like she'll be taking over Patience's social and pretty much building it up. So also build up, Layla's, company, so that way she can get more people to be a part of her label. So, that was really cool that, but Patience like, oh, like I thought she was gonna be the person on the inside, you know what I mean, like a spy. And Layla's like, I was never looking for a spy. I was looking for someone to hire, and I found somebody that, and we hired her. So I do love how, like, if I'm correct, Jade is if that's her name, she's a part of their group, and she's going to be taking over Patience's socials, and also the social of, like, again, I guess, Layla's new record label. Like, she's gonna be taking over the social for that. So I'm just so glad that Layla's building up this team, and she's kind of giving Clay a taste of his own medicine. Maybe that way they tell Clay to back the fuck off, which he should, because Clay's been pissing me off ever since he, like, it's true, like, he doesn't care about Keening Records. He doesn't care about it at all. He only cared about taking it over from JP to get and to annoy Layla. That's the only reason why he did it, and that's true. So I'm just so glad that Layla's giving Clay a taste of his own medicine. And it's crazy because even though when Spencer can't go through with sleeping with that girl, and I was so happy because, again, Spencer's not that dude where he's even said before he even went back up with that, like, before, like, the girl found him and he went back up with the girl, he even said, I can't just sleep with a girl or whatever and then move on. I can't just do that. You know what I mean? And even though Jordan's been able to do that, JJ's been able to do that, it just makes Spencer it just makes him an even cooler character, the fact, and and more respectable character, that he just doesn't do that. I understand, like, it's not to say that, like again, people can do whatever they want. People can sleep with people and move on if they want to, but for some people, they can't do that. And I think it's really, it says who Spencer's character is, and the fact that he can't just be a one and done person, like sleep with a girl and then move on. He can't do that. Same as, like, I'm a dude like that. Like, I can't do that. I can't just go do some shit like that and move on. I wouldn't be able. I wouldn't be able to do that. You know what I mean? It says, like, who a person is when they can't do something like that. You know what I mean? That they're looking for a relationship. You know what I mean? They're not the person to just have, like, sleep with somebody and then move on. They want to have, they if anything, it's a really important thing. It's special when they do sleep with the right one, and they're not just sleeping with people and then moving on. Again, it's not to say that people are wrong for doing that, because, I mean, hell, if you want to go do that, go do that. But I think it just shows, again, Spencer's character is that he's not that type of dude that wants to just sleep with somebody and move on. He can't do that. There was something special that he had with Olivia, and he knows that he doesn't want to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna just sleep with people and move on. I don't want to do that. I want to be with Olivia. It's just he doesn't want to be that one and done type of dude. He wants to be in a relationship. And I was like, yeah, he's not that type of dude. Like, Jordan's that type of dude. JJ's that type of dude. And if they want to be dudes like that, that's cool. Good for them. But I think that's why I have so much more respect for Spencer. I have more respect for people that even don't want to be like, don't want to do shit like that. You know what I mean? Again, kudos to you that you want to do that, but it's like, it says who you are, I feel like, as a person, when you just don't want to do that, and you actually want to have a connection with somebody and actually date somebody. You know what I mean? And before you sleep with somebody and stuff. That's just my personal opinion. But honestly, though, it's like, it's crazy because, in next week's episode, it's going to be crazy because, actually, by the end of this episode, really, before we get into next week's episode, which I'll play the clip for that for next week's episode. But we have, Jordan confronts Isaiah about what happened. He confronts him about saying, like, oh, like, did you mean to, like, go for that dude's, like, ankle, because you really, like, took him out, you really hurt him or whatever. Did you mean to do that? And then that's when he's like, gets all defensive, or he's like, Jordan's like, or did Coach Garrett pay you to do that, or like, did someone tell you to do that? And that's when Isaiah's like, oh, like, did you mean to throw shit, or was that by accident that you threw, like, shit or whatever? And he was on the defensive. I was like, he definitely was paid. I was like, and I think Jordan knew at that moment, oh shit, Olivia's right. He got really defensive. He was paid. And it got confirmed at the end of this episode where Coach Garrett walks into the weight room, and, there was weird tension between Isaiah when he said, like, oh, this is the last workout, boys, or whatever. Like, when he went up to, like, Spencer and Jordan, he's like, oh, keep going with your workouts or whatever. He just sounded like very, like, Spencer caught up on, like, the tone about the way Isaiah was saying it to them. And he's like, I don't like the way that sounded. Like I don't like how people aren't telling me things, and like people have attitude for no reason or whatever. Like, what's going on or whatever. And then that's when Coach Garrett comes into the room and says, the MVP player or whatever, or like the player that did the most or whatever was Isaiah, and he gets like a full athletic scholarship or whatever. And then right away Spencer's like, okay, now I know something's wrong. What are you not telling me? Meaning even Jordan knew at that moment, okay, he paid him to do that illegal move. Coach Garrett paid Isaiah to do that illegal move, and he gave Isaiah a full athletic scholarship to do that illegal move, so they would win. So they would almost win that game, because him doing that, taking out that good player, that almost made Jordan be able to win the game if it wasn't for his hand. So he has been doing what Wade was saying to Olivia that Coach Garrett's been doing for years. So at this point, Jordan knows, and at this point now Spencer knows. And they're all, Jordan, Spencer, and Olivia, and also Billy are all trying to, mainly Jordan, Spencer, and Olivia are all trying to figure out what to do now. Especially because now that Olivia, it seems like she's angry now that Spencer is involved. There was one where like Jordan was involved, but now you're at the point where like Spencer's now involved, and she doesn't like how Spencer's involved in this now, because I think she'll find it more difficult in the fact of, like Spencer said, I could pursue this and you know what I mean, and I don't have to stop or whatever, and that's why we broke up. But to have him come in and pretty much, in a way, maybe try to figure out a better way to do it so it doesn't affect his future, it seems like she's getting angry about it. So I don't know. It's going to be a clusterfuck though, and the fact of, she's going to be upset that now Spencer is involved, but he has every right to be involved again because it would affect his future. That's why I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? It's like, no. It's like, now that we know or whatever, we want to have the right way to do it. We don't just want you going in guns blazing, and then you end up fucking up our futures and shit. So it's like, I understand, but it seems like Olivia's not happy with the fact that, we have, like, 'cause again, they wanted, remember, Billy wanted Olivia to take a step back so that way they could get everything sorted, so that way when they went in, they wouldn't be ruining everybody's futures. And she thought, okay, that with Billy saying sorry to Olivia, saying, okay, I'm going to let you lead, she thought, okay, I'm going to go back in guns blazing. But now that Jordan knows, and now that Spencer knows, Spencer is definitely not going to let Olivia go in guns blazing, because it affects his future. And again, I don't like the way Olivia's been acting. I really don't. It's like, because again, everybody's telling her what she's doing is wrong. And again, it is hurting people what Coach Garrett is doing. But again, you're just going in guns blazing, not getting the right proof that, you know what I mean? Proof that some students aren't involved. And you know what I mean? It's like, again, like you're not thinking like that. Like, some students aren't involved. And some students, these are their scholarships. This is this will become this is their future you'll be messing with. We need to have the proof that when people that aren't involved can still have their scholarships intact and get to keep moving forward. You know what I mean? But people that are involved, maybe they were like getting in a way being like forced to do it. Who knows? You know what I mean? Because once you're on a team and then you might say like, oh, like do this, and then I'll like, you know what I mean, do this, or like I'll kick you off or whatever, and then he does something, and then that's when he repays them in some sort of way. Who knows how Coach Garrett is doing this? But it's like Olivia's not thinking like that. She just wants to go in and without thinking about whose future she could mess up. And I don't think she's gonna be happy that Spencer and Jordan are gonna be coming in there trying to make it be like, okay, we need to get the proof, and we need to make sure our futures are still intact. She can't stand the waiting around. She just wants to do something. And that's not a good reporter that just wants to rush into something and not get the right evidence and not think of a right way to make sure other people's futures aren't like thrown away because you just want to go in there. Could you imagine if Olivia went in there, didn't have the right proof, and then, and then or whatever, the board heard about it, and then the board just shut down the program because they didn't want any bad name about their school, so they ended up shutting down the program entirely. And Coach Garrett just got to go to another school and kept doing what he was doing. That could happen because she doesn't have the right proof, and she isn't doing the right methods that Billy was looking into to make sure that wouldn't happen. And again, it's like, I support the fact that Olivia wants to stop other people, like stop Coach Garrett from what he's doing so that way he stops hurting people. But it's like she needs to care about the fact of like what this will do to other people if she's not getting the right stuff, so that way people's futures don't like disappear and they can't continue playing football. They have to be very careful. She has to be very careful on how she does this. That's what Billy was trying to say, and she didn't want to hear it. So I'm a little worried about that. But other than that, I just really did like this episode. I'm a little worried about JJ still. I don't really know what's going on, if it's just Asher or if there's something bigger here. Again, I'm really happy for Asher, but it seems like it isn't so much sunshines and rainbows because of what he has to deal with JJ. Also, him not getting respect from the players, and also him not really being an second assistant coach. He's like a teacher assistant coach. He's not like an assistant coach. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just hoping things work out for Asher. I hope him and JJ's relationship can be like fixed, and we can figure out why JJ's feeling that way, and we can figure out why. And, and him and Asher can become friends again. I'm really hoping that they can just fix that, and we can figure out what's going on with JJ. If it's just an Asher thing, and if it's not just an Asher thing. And also, I'm really hoping that Olivia can, like, make it so, she's not being like this or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like, because again, you can't be mad at Spencer for wanting to move on when you're the reason that the relationship didn't work. And everybody was saying that she was the reason it didn't work. And I'm agreeing with them at this point. It's like, really didn't want to do it. I really wanted it to be like what Spencer said. It's like, okay, I just don't want you. I don't want to be that light that, that turns out every time you're around me, because it reminds you of like, oh, you have to choose between you being a reporter or you dropping the article or whatever. And that means that you're not being a full committed reporter. I don't want to do that to you. But it's like, no, it's like what she's doing is cut. She's not, especially because it makes it even worse that she's not thinking about anybody else but her story and what she wants to be doing. And this episode really proved it, that she just didn't care, being so angry at Billy being involved and him taking the lead on making sure that everybody's like scholarships are still intact and the program is still intact after they get Coach Garrett out of there. She just wanted to just go run in there and not have a care in the world what that would do, bringing that evidence to the board. You know what I mean? Again, you gotta think about shit like that. And it just frustrates me so much. And I want to know what you guys think about this, what you guys thought about this episode. But yet again, I really did love this episode. I'm just not messing with what Olivia is doing. Since I've not been messing with Olivia really since last season. And it upsets me because it's like, damn, I wanted Olivia and Spencer to date so much, but the way she's been acting, it's like, I'm so glad he broke up with her. It's cut that I'm saying that, but I'm so glad he did, because it's like, it's not fair to him how she's been making him feel. It's not fair. It's like, I feel really bad for him. It's like, it's not fair. And the fact that she got angry that he was moving on or having an idea of moving on, even though he didn't do it, it's like, no, it's not fair. And you can't expect him just to wait there when you're the one that did something wrong. And what do you expect? Like, you go through with your article with again, all guns blazing, and let's say you do shut down the program and you do make it so Spencer and Jordan don't have their scholarships anymore. You really think Spencer's just going to be there waiting for you to get back in a relationship with you after you fucked up his future? No. Like, no, bro. I think not. And it's facts, though. It's like, I feel like Olivia's character thinks like that right now, and it's very frustrating. I want to know if you guys have been feeling some type of way about Olivia, which again is upsetting, because again, I love that character. It's just the way they wrote her towards the end of last season with the whole article, Wade Waters thing or whatever, or you know what I mean? Or like, but even if she was right about that, but mainly with this, I would say it's really this. But even then, it's like, it could have had a chance of messing things up. It was a cluster F, but really this, it's like, she has no excuse now, because it's like, then it's like what he was doing was wrong and stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, the players were blaming them for all that stuff, because I feel like she wasn't going through the right channels to do it the right way. And I feel like this is 10 times worse now, because it's like, there is no evidence as there was evidence before. And she's doing the same mistake like she did last time. She's just going in guns blazing, but it's been prevented because Billy's been the one taking over. But it's about to go back in guns blazing. But it's like, now that Jordan and Spencer are there, they're gonna make her take a step back, but she's gonna get annoyed again. I just hope that we kind of wrap this story. I want it to like get wrapped up so bad, because it's like, I'm so frustrated with Olivia's character, and I want to know if you guys think that way, or if you guys just think I'm just like I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me know. What do you guys think about what's been going on with Olivia and the storyline? Do you guys think she's right? Do you guys think she's not right? What do you guys think is going? What do you think about what's going on between Jordan and Asher? Do you think JJ's acting the way he's acting? Or no, I'm not Jordan and Asher. I meant JJ and Asher. Do you guys think JJ's acting the way he's acting because of, you know, he feels like he doesn't have his friend anymore with Asher? Or do you think there's something bigger there on top of Asher getting on JJ's case? Let me know. What do you guys think? Also, were you guys like supporting Spencer moving on in this episode, or did you guys not want him to move on? You guys wanted him, and wanted him to not, try to move on, and wanted him to wait to get back together with Olivia. What did you guys think about that? Did you guys like that he was kind of like, living his life and to see if, like, he could, if he could move on? Did you guys like that, or did you guys not like that? I'm really curious to know yet again here. Also, if you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put those notifications, and like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of the fam, a part of the channel, all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And yet again, guys, we're almost to 600 subscribers. Right now we're at 560 564 or 563 we're at right now. We're almost to 600 subscribers, and that's the goal, to get to 600. Also, my Patreon is up. Also, yet again, I actually forgot that I wanted to play the next week's episode for All American, so I'm gonna play that up right now.
You didn't just lose Olivia, you lost the person you were with her.
He's not gonna tell me how to pursue my story. He has a problem. He could just go back to picking up girls with JJ.
I really don't want to be in the middle of this, okay?
So you guys saw that, the next upcoming episode of All American, it's intense, it's getting intense. I feel like really at the end of this episode, it's really starting to get into that tense level where it's like Spencer and Jordan both now know. So it's kind of like, how do they keep going, to campus and keep interacting with Coach Garrett now that they know that he is cheating? You know what I mean? And now they really can't trust anybody, and they're going to be like walking around and be like, oh, we can't trust anybody. He might be paying anybody around here to be cheating. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all goes. But guys, yet again, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.